We've talked a little bit about all of the guys that are missing. Ward, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah left the game. Clowney did not play. Greedy Williams left the game. Jack Conklin left the game. Jedrick Wills and Chris Hubbard and Greg Newsome were already out. Of all the guys missing, who do they need back the most with the 5-0, the only unbeaten team in the NFL coming into First Energy Stadium, the Arizona Cardinals?
I would probably, as much as I would want to say one of the corners, because you at least want to have one of your top three guys going against that offense, I think it's Jadeveon Clowney. And Myles Garrett alluded to it in his postgame, talking about just how important Clowney is to take pressure off the rest of that defensive line. You're going to need to find a way to get pressure with just 4 and find a way to keep Kyler Murray confined in that pocket as best as possible, because if you blitz, he can just run around you and burn you for a big, long gain on the ground or throw it to one of his bevy of receivers. If you have Clowney out there, then you can still get pressure with 4 guys. You have a guy in Clowney who's capable of setting the edge at one of the end spots. You have to pick and choose who you're going to double team in those situations if you're going to double team one of those 2 guys. And it frees so many things up where they don't necessarily have to blitz to be effective. We saw just how important he was, in the first 4 games of the season. Even in the Vikings game, he only had 1 tackle, but he was still impactful. You need those guys closest to the line of scrimmage to be available, to be ready to go. Because if you can disrupt Murray, if you can make him play off schedule, if you can get him any bit uncomfortable, any little bit is going to help that secondary, I think. Because let's be real, you can have all the corners back you want. There is nobody that can cover DeAndre Hopkins one-on-one. That's just impossible. So that kind of is where I kind of, after thinking about it for a little bit, that's kind of where I landed, was on Clowney.
I agree with you to a certain extent. The guy that I'm curious about is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is a guy that has a skill set that could potentially, I don't want to say he's going to follow Kyler Murray, but he is a guy that you might have kind of spy on him and make sure that if Kyler Murray gets out of the pocket, he has the athleticism to potentially run him down. Kyler Murray's a problem. I mean, he is more athletic running the football than Patrick Mahomes. He's probably a little bit faster, and he's more elusive in the open field. When you watch him, he doesn't look big, but he never gets hit. I mean, he never takes a big hit, being Kyler Murray.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what makes him and that offense so special. Going back to when you're talking about Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I think the hidden thing that sticks out, and they'll probably need this at some point if he plays on Sunday, is he's got a knack for punching the ball out in coverage. He did it a bunch at Notre Dame, including, I think it was a 4th fumble against Amari Rodgers in the Clemson game. With the receivers that the Cardinals have, not just DeAndre Hopkins, but you've got Christian Kirk, you've got Rondale Moore, who I absolutely loved coming out of Purdue. You've got AJ Green, who I know he's older, but as a complementary piece in that offense, he is still really good. So you're going to need all the guys that can cover that you can. JOK just seems to have ability to just be around the football. He hasn't quite forced turnovers yet, but you get the feeling that if he's healthy, if he stays on the field, if he continues to progress, that's just what he's going to do. And we know his coverage ability. So I agree with you. I think they'll need him for that, as well as, finding some way to control Kyler Murray and make him one-dimensional.